Auto insurance can all seem the same until it comes time to use it. So don't get stuck paying more for less coverage. Switch to USAA Auto Insurance and you could start saving money in no time. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
Vitamin Water was born in New York because New Yorkers wanted more. Like more flavor to go with all the flavor. A refreshing drink after climbing 6 flights of stairs to a walk-up apartment, or standing in the subway station in 100-degree heat. Focus when I have an 8-hour shift, and Triple X after I was out all night at a club called Triple X. Drink vitamin water. It's from New York.
Bernigan. ABCs. Welcome to the Bare Naked ABCs, where we discuss all the hits, because it seems like BNL is willing to call anything a hit these days. But we'll get to that pretty soon. This week, I am luckily joined by Heidi and Betsy. Thank you for joining me.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
It's just coming.
And this week, we are kind of doing an amalgam discussion of the hits/rarities albums. I didn't want to kind of discuss one at a time. It just is kind of like we would be here forever discussing every single greatest hits album. So I think it's better to discuss them as one big group in the rarities mixed in with it.
Yeah. Let's do it.
There's a lot of greatest hits albums. And I think that's where I'm going to kind of start with at first. There are too many greatest hits albums. I love BNL, obviously. But they have 3 greatest hits albums, several live albums, one of which was their early greatest hits albums in a lot of way, and then a rarities album. That is just a bit much for a band that really, truly, honestly only had 2 big hits in the United States and maybe 5 in Canada.
And a song about having greatest hits and
You're muted,
following, yeah.
It's because the dog is playing with a squeaker toy right now. So I was like, oh, yeah, you nailed that one, Betsy. It's almost like it was prophetic. Like,
yeah,
they called it themselves.
Yep.
The funny thing is they didn't
Foreshadowing.
release most of the greatest hits albums until after Steve left.
I
Well,
know,
and
I saw that.
Right. And the 2012, the Stop Us If You've Heard This Before, it's like, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I love the Persuasions album, and we're going to discuss that one last
Oh, yeah, I didn't
because
even think about that being another kind of greatest hits album.
that's what I'm saying is like in a way it's kind of a greatest hits album more than anything else, and we'll discuss that one down the road in by itself because I think it deserves it. But
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't think they needed more than one hits album, maybe 2.
Disc 1 was fine. The problem is they put it out before, like, if they'd have just waited. Because even the Yesterday album has songs from that album. So why?
Well, that's what, yes. So let's go through that. So
Okay.
first we had, I mean, if you really look at it, Rock Spectac was really, it was a live album, but it was really their early greatest hits. We're going to cover everything to catch you up before we
And that was
release
brilliant.
stuff. Yes.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that's where I started. Was Rock
Yeah.
Spectac.
I mean, that's
So
where a
good.
lot of Americans started. Like if
Right.
you didn't know BNL before that point, this is what you know BNL from now. And it's not called greatest hits, but it really could have been. And then after Pinch Me, like just a couple years later, I guess they were like, you know what? We really have hits now. I guess we could say we have hits. Let's release a greatest hits album to recapture this new group of people that are now coming in that love Pinch Me, that love 1 Week, and let's show them some of the other stuff. I kind of understand that. I get the let's introduce them to some of our earlier stuff. And the good thing that happened, I mean, I didn't like it at the time. I was pissed off at the time. But the really great marketing ploy that they used with disc 1, all my greatest hits, all their greatest hits, was that they threw in 3 songs that weren't really available anywhere else. They
Right.
threw in Thanks, that was fun. They threw in Get in Line. They threw in It's Only Me.
Mm.
And they also threw in Lovers in a Dangerous Time. So you really couldn't get those anywhere unless you.
Right.
So it was a good ploy. Like I still
Mhm.
felt, even though I already owned all their other albums, I still felt good getting that going. Okay, yeah, I got a good deal out of that. And then, I mean, that was the point where I was like, I think they're getting done because that's they finished with Thanks, that was fun, and they had released their greatest hits, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's them saying thank you.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people thought.
Well, and I don't understand why didn't they just again they when they put out disc one in '01, why didn't they just wait at like the 2011? Why couldn't that have been disc two?
Okay,
And
yes,
then
thank you.
why couldn't that have been disc two whatever catchy you know that's
Electric Boogaloo.
that put
Well,
the
that's
other
the
stuff on it,
problem.
but stop, why are you continuing to put the same songs on multiple albums?
Yes. So then
Yeah,
in
I think that's
2011 they released Hits from Yesterday and the Day Before. Now,
Right.
I get Steven had just left the band. They're reinventing themselves and they're trying to get people reinvigorated. I don't think that was the way to do it with because they put out all these songs like you have If I Had $1 Million, Old Apartment, Brian Wilson, 1 Week, It's All Been Done, Pinch Me, Too Little Too Late, Falling
Yeah.
for the First Time. All these were already on the other album, the Greatest Hits album. Like if
yeah,
people really wanted the
and
greatest hits, they go out and get that.
and like how do you even determine greatest hits? Is it just like metrics like what charted best? Because you never know like what song you're gonna really connect with until you hear it. So
No, I completely agree. And so then that's
That
the
is
other thing about what they released on
like
this album. They released a
yeah.
Testing 1, 2, 3 and Easy, and those aren't hits.
But like and yeah, like if you put something on there like aluminum that I love, but probably it didn't chart well. You know, it's just so nuanced. It's hard to I don't know how they
Well,
decide what's gonna be on albums like that.
well, they did. And for
And then have
example,
3
they
of them.
put Call and Answer on here.
Yeah, I
right.
know. I love Call and Answer, obviously. You guys know
I
that.
love, but didn't chart, didn't do
Yeah,
anything
no,
for
again,
them.
didn't chart, so it's like,
And I
are they just
agree.
going by their favorites or
If you're doing a greatest hits too, Call and Answer deserves to be on there.
Mhm.
But it should have been on the previous one. But I get why it wasn't. They ran out of room. But throw it on a disc two. Um, I think I called it disc two. Um, all brand new. That's right. I called it disc
Oh
two, all
yeah,
brand
yeah.
new. Um,
Oh, that would have been brilliant. Why did they consult with you on that?
they should. I should be the band's consultant. Really, that's
Obviously.
what I've decided.
Obviously.
They put Big Bang Theory on there, and I agree with that. That was one of their hits after Steven left, or not after Steven left, but after disc one had been released. You Run Away was a hit. It deserved to be on there. But there are other songs that I would have much rather have had on a disc too.
I agree
I
with you
agree.
100%.
Yeah, me too. I think we're all going to be in agreement tonight.
I kind of think of like that one too, like Betsy said earlier, like what's the metric? It's kind of
Mm.
like picking up a box
What's
greatest
the
hits
level?
album. Like I hate that when you're in a when you're going in and you see they do that all the time with quote unquote classical composers. I say that because
Yeah.
they could be baroque or Renaissance or romantic, but Beethoven's greatest hits, according to who? Like
Yeah.
I hate that. That drives me crazy. But that's kind of like you're right, Betsy. What's the metric? Like, is it
Hmm.
radio play? Is it the fan favorites? Because these are not all the fan favorites.
No,
Like,
no.
I
Far
think
from
if
it.
you asked, another postcard is not a true fan favorite.
No.
It's more of a cult favorite, maybe a cult
It
Yeah,
wasn't
classic,
even
but
it didn't even have the metrics.
no.
right.
They
Um,
wanted it too, I think,
like
but
I made a mixtape years ago called Various and Rare because it was so varied. Like it was my favorite stuff and a lot of the rarities like night photographs and things that were
mhm.
really out there that you couldn't get on a regular album. Baby Seat or not baby well Baby Seat to me was more rare because nobody really listened to that one.
Mhm.
Um Powder Blue. Like I had plus again like she's on time and back and like these great other songs. So why I just don't understand. I love we have this podcast because we adore them and we love them, but this was not the smartest. Like it's kind of like it's all been done. It's all been done before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
Here's another
It's getting
disc.
rehashed, yeah.
and then
And
they
if you're
released another greatest hits album. Okay, so finishing up with All Brand New, like this two All Brand New, it should have had one or two or three songs that we had never heard before. Get the old time fans to want to go out and buy this album.
right, why would we buy another album when we already have all the songs?
Right.
Mhm.
I only did it with disc one because I had those four songs. I was like, I don't have any of those. I can justify getting this. Give me a reason to go out and buy disc two All Brand New or hits. I do not have hits from yesterday and the day before. I don't own it. I never will. It's useless to me because I already own them all.
I don't have that one either. That's so funny. I think I may have like put up the album on Amazon Music once and listened to it just that way or something, but no, I don't own that one either. And it's because I own everything. Like, but for some reason I was like, I don't think I need this one. But it's funny because I just pulled up again the lyrics to Box Set and I was like, okay, okay. I never thought that words like product could ever leave my lips,
Mhm.
but something happened to me somewhere that made me lose my grip. Maybe it's a lack of inspiration. I mean, and so like disc two, all brand new. No, you can see I almost would have been happier with a dance remix. Like,
Yeah.
give me something.
Well,
Oh,
if you're gonna
that'll
put,
happen with 1 week, so don't worry about that.
I was gonna say, if
Oh
you're gonna put
yeah.
1 week on the
Pew,
greatest hits
pew.
part two, do the pull break dance remix. Like you got to
Mhm.
put a dance remix on there, and that's part of the joke. And you need to have jokes like that for your deep fans, where they're like, "That was amazing. That made me laugh so much." Just the fact that that exists.
Oh my God. A bathroom cleanser song is probably coming in soon too. You're right.
No,
Well,
it
they
Give
did.
already
me
did,
They
like, the
did.
mac and cheese
They
commercial and
okay. It
that's
wasn't a
right.
bathroom cleanser, but they rewrote "If I Have $1 Million" for "Gain." If I have a million, so
Oh, you're right. So there you go. It's complete. The prophecy it's the Bare Naked Ladies prophecy.
put
It was a
that one on
self-fulfilling
there.
prophecy with that song.
Put that
And
on
it's
there as a deep dive for your fans, where we're like, I get it. Going.
yep. Yeah, I get it. And that would be
wait,
the humor of the situation,
wait.
if you will. Like
Hold on.
that.
What about Gain?
So they rewrote "If I Had $1 Million" for a Gain commercial.
I
They
need to find
did?
that right now.
If I gain $1 million, it was to sell Gain
Holy sheep.
laundry
It's
detergent.
right here. Is it the
Huh.
Super Flings commercial?
Yep.
Oh, those little pellets that you put in?
Let me see.
Flings.
It didn't go very far. It was a deep dive rarity, but that's one of those things where if you've got that in a song and then you're like, okay, well, you have to put it on your greatest hits as a joke. Put it into as a hidden track and your deep fans will laugh. Matter of fact, put a blank track on there where there is absolutely no for disc 2 an album's worth of song, but I had to leave the whole disc blank. Like label that track as disc 2.
Right.
And your
Right.
deep dive fans will go, that is fucking hilarious.
Because it's brilliant and funny. It's like the Weird Al biopic, which is like he took it to that level because it was so brilliant that it was and anybody that knows Weird Al was in on the joke, and we
Yes.
got it, and where other people were like, that's so dumb, what, that was like, no, that's because you don't get it. And that's the thing, is if you get BNL, that would be hilarious. And they know they're true fans. We're all, dorky to a degree, a great degree. So we would have gotten the joke.
Yes.
Give us the joke.
For disc 5, disc 6. No, disc 5.
I was barely alive. I was
Mhm.
hanging up alone.
So I had to
use a special computer as my
replacement.
Yeah. And disc 6 is where you
Dance
put in
remix.
the stuff from when he's a kid. Now, you don't put in like their normal stuff. You put in a really deep dive song from their first tape. Like,
oh yeah,
when they were a kid, you put something funny in like that.
And that would be way more appreciated. But it again, stop giving us the same stuff. You already have us. We've already got it. We've got these songs on how many different discs on different playlists now. I have various BNL playlists now, mixed of all kinds of things depending on what my mood is. We have these. We are already in your fan club. We are there. So give us something to chew on, I think would be.
Yeah. Give us a reason to go out and buy this album that you're trying to hook other people in on.
Right.
And then they released
what album, like Betsy said, I think perfectly, like the first album I would probably give to somebody who hadn't been exposed yet would be Rock Spectac. It wouldn't be Gordon, it'd be Rock Spectac, because the whole idea, they're live, they were a whole, the experience of their live shows is what keeps their fans going back.
Yeah. And their
Because an album is one thing,
yeah.
but the live show is what you're like, you've never seen a live show like them before.
It really
You've
shows
got to
their
go. You'll
personality.
love
Yeah.
the band if you see them live. So you give them Rock Spectac to pop their cherry. Then you give them Gordon as the next album. And then you start weeding through the rest. But you don't give them none of these greatest hits albums. It's not like, it's so funny because you think about the albums that you love in your collection, and I have a lot of great, like I have Cat Stevens' greatest hits album because I love that album. These are all my favorite songs. You think about all the artists that have greatest hits album, they have one. They have
yes.
I mean, Billy Joel has like 457.
He also has a ton of songs.
But most there's that. Oh, as long as you've got their greatest hits album.
Queen has 1 and 2, but they deserve 1 and 2.
But they deserve 1 and 2. BNL did not need, but they're different though. That's the thing. Like, tell me a greatest hits album that, like James Taylor, Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the same songs on both of those. No. Those are great.
Are you talking about the live one?
James Taylor. I think it's just Volume 1 and Volume 2.
It is.
I have his dual disc live. That's just amazing.
And it's really good because it does his early years and then it does his later years, which is great because it's completely different vibes.
Yeah, so
Who knew that you could
greatest
write
hits
a
was just
song about
greatest hits, and then
millworking
it's
and
volume two. But I don't know of very many artists that have multiple greatest hits albums that have the same songs on multiple albums. I could be wrong,
No. Well, did you
but I
know
don't.
about original hits, original stars?
I did not. I just saw that and I was like, where did that come from?
That, I mean, once again, horrible marketing. So they released in 2019 original hits, original stars. It was only a vinyl, so they were trying to get into the vinyl hipster crowd. If you're going to do that, then take your greatest hits
Oh,
album
that's right. That's the one with
and do
the
that as your,
circle thing.
yeah, like do that as your vinyl. They'd already released several other vinyls. Release your greatest hits as a vinyl, or
And
release
that
Rock
one,
Spectac as a vinyl.
that one's a weird mix too. It's Pinch Me, Old Apartment, Falling for the First Time, Brian Wilson, Big Bang, $1,000,000 Testing, All Been Done Easy, Odds Are 1 week, and You Run Away.
Yeah. What
That
the
is like
heck?
taking all of their songs in a blend or a bingo in a like bingo ball thing and having all their songs names on bingo balls and going, okay, we'll take that one, we'll take that one.
And
It's a very
Easy is not
interesting
a
mix.
hit.
No,
No.
I love the song, but I don't know. It's very strange.
I would say Wind It Up was more of a hit than Easy was.
Oh yeah.
And it
Yeah,
was by
definitely.
far not the greatest song off that album.
No.
Like,
I mean,
And
I
why
mean, but it's
original
all
hits, original song?
and they could, if they had done disc one, disc two, the way I had said it, when you decide to release the vinyl, you could do a double-sided, double vinyl album release of disc one, disc two, and it would cover all the eras. It would be in vinyl, it would be cool, and it covers the important stuff.
And the description of that album on Victrola uh says original includes the group's biggest singles as well as I'm like, wait a minute, what? Biggest singles as well as their beloved Big Bang Theory. I'm like, were those their biggest singles? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Once again, I know Easy definitely wasn't.
No. So again, trying to make some dough with another. I mean, the album cover is very cool.
Yeah. I mean, the idea was cool. If I remember right, like they released it in a special color on the for the plastic
But
for the
original hits,
vinyl.
original stars could have been super cool if you'd put McDonald's Girl on there and you brought in brought in damn it, McDonald's Girl guy.
Yes.
Ronald McDonald.
No, on the show.
I can see his face, but I'm a face
Him
person.
on the show.
Twice. It will
Dean
come to me in
Friedman.
about 5 minutes.
Dean Friedman.
Thank you.
Thank you. But if you'd had that with Dean Friedman and you had like I'm trying to think of another. Oh, Lovers in a Dangerous Time with Bruce Coper. What? I don't think you can because isn't he dead or is he alive? Is he still
I
alive?
think he's fairly dead.
I think he's dead, right?
I think so. Hold on. Let me just.
I
use
thought he
the
was still
computer.
alive.
Bruce Coper?
No, he's still
No,
touring.
he's alive. He's 79.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
Bring him.
well, who else?
I reached out to
There's
him for him to
somebody.
come on, but he's
the
too busy
guy from
touring.
Tragically Hip's dead, but yeah.
Putting why didn't like putting the song that Ed did with Chris Space Dude,
Yep.
that would have been cool.
Yeah,
Original hits,
Hatfield
original stars.
Mhm.
Get it? Like
yeah.
some of those with the original artists and collaborators, that would have been
Yes.
very cool.
Do
That would have been an album I would have bought in a second.
take one of the Persuasion songs, put it on
heck
there.
yeah.
That's the thing. Is like the if you're gonna name something like that, do something cool with it to draw the crowd in. Don't just do a quick throw together album. Which brings me to Stop Me If You've heard this one before. And guys, stop me if you've heard this before, because I know I've gone over this before. Betsy reminded me this week. She's like, you already discussed in detail your problems
By the
with
way,
this
I
album.
was thinking of Leonard Cohen, not Bruce Coburn.
Oh, Leonard Cohen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Leonard's definitely dead.
Okay.
I was thinking Lovers in a Dangerous Time.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. Sorry, Tracy.
That's okay. So my problem, obviously, with what do you guys? I've waxed on a lot about Stop Us. If you've heard this one before, what are your thoughts on that album?
I think there's a handful that I would like, but I think I like 4 of them are worth kind of keeping on there, especially Teenage Wasteland. But I have a whole bunch I could put on there that would be better than that I prefer.
Well, please, I would love to hear what would you do with this album? People have
you
heard me
guys
talk about
reminded
what.
me of a few, but like, and Heidi, you reminded me of one too, like with McDonald's Girl, Baby Seat, It's Only Me, Back, Stephen Page is having a baby, Ballad of Gordon. Beautiful isn't a rarity, but I think it just it's underappreciated and it needs to get more airtime. Skinhead.
oh,
is on
yeah.
time. Powder Blue again isn't technically a rarity, but it deserves more attention.
It deserves way more attention. You're right.
Little Green Bag. Their cover of it. Yeah. Yes. Trust me. Moonstone.
And they could have done that one on the other song too with Tom Jones.
Yes, that would have been amazing.
Moonstone. You said Night Photographs.
We should be their managers.
And Fight the Power.
Oh yeah. Agreed. For this one, it reminds me of, again, box set where they're like, there's just some demos I recorded in my basement.
Yeah.
Because you've got a weird mix. You've got 1 demo, 2 demos, 3 demos. 1, 2, 3. So
it's not a rarity
demos?
if you're putting a demo on.
Demos aren't rarities.
Yeah.
I can those aren't rarities. Teenage Wasteland can stay. I think it's funny that it starts with I Don't Get It Anymore, which I was a fan of that song. I do like that song. I do, yes. Okay. But what?
Yeah. That's when I wanted to keep 2. And I did long while, and I Can, I Will, I Do.
And just because it's live, I don't know, it's such a weird ass album. Yeah. You've got lives and demos of songs that we've already got on other things.
And they have so many other deep dives that they could have thrown on here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my album would look totally different now because I've taken a lot of the rarities that are on here and I put that, as we've resequenced, I put them on those albums instead because they are so amazing that I was like, I don't understand why these were ever cut to begin with. But this album looks really bleak at this point, in my opinion, because my rarities I don't like. But there are a lot of people that would be like, "Oh my gosh, why did you cut those? Those would be and this would be like the best album for them." Like Long Way Back Home, Shopping, Inline Bowline, Same Thing. These are I've cut these. Really Don't Know, Trouble with Tracy, Skinhead, Michael Brennan.
Trouble with Tracy, that's another one.
Yes. Michael Brennan. That one gets no recognition and should be.
That's from a lot of those are from the Horseshoe that they recorded.
Yeah. Joseph Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Gangster Girl. Why?
Yeah.
Gangster Girl. Why isn't Gangster Girl on any of these? Again, they had a prime opportunity.
You can make almost a double album of all the stuff that we're listing off that are true rarities that really deserve more listeners, more recognition, more airtime.
Yeah. They really have such a deep catalog. And those aren't even the covers. We're not talking about when they covered Psycho Killer or when they covered When
Psycho Killer. Get David Byrne in. Again, that would have been an incredible album.
Yeah.
that should have been the original hits, the original Stars album, is because you're actually bringing the original collaborators, the original writers and composers and singers of those songs, and finding a new way to bring that song to people with a mix of how they did it and a mix of how the original was. And that could have been so good.
Yes.
Ah.
And
Like,
that's the
can
thing,
you
like,
imagine the Persuasions actually working with them on Gangster Girl?
oh my gosh.
I know.
I just had nerdgasm.
Like that. And it's so, like, it's not an album I ever even remember. I don't even think about it. Like, I have it. I do have this one, but it's not one that I go to.
I don't even buy
I don't
vinyl.
think ever.
And I would have gone out to buy it, and I would have bought a record player just to be able to listen to that album that you're pitching, Heidi.
I know, right? We're pitching the perfect album right now. So, Ed, if you're listening, Kevin, if you're listening, Jim, Tyler, if you're listening, we've got
Any
a
of
great
you.
idea going.
Tyler, are you listening?
Tyler, are you listening? Hey, maybe I'm the only one who wants this, but I would just like an entire album of ad libs.
Oh my god, that would be
yeah.
great.
Their ad libs are just amazing, and then
their torture ad lib.
The tricky thing would be to get it in the right context, which they usually set them up pretty well. But I'm just such a big ad lib fan that they're just so witty and sharp, and yeah.
And that's the thing.
I think I made myself a mixtape or a mix CD way back that was just ad libs and more too. Yeah. Because I just loved, I would go out on Napster or wherever at the time and find every ad lib I could find. And I bootlegged a lot of shows back then. I don't even remember where all my CDs are because I bootleg it, especially if I was going. And a few times, like, there were even moments where I had a sign and they'd call out my sign. And I was super stoked because then I had myself in an ad lib. So it was awesome. But yeah, I wish I could find those and download them.
Every ad lib. They had every stop on the tour for Everything to Everyone, as well as every stop on the tour that they did for the Bare Naked Ladies for the holidays.
Right.
They had every single one of those. So they have like probably easily 100 ad libs recorded. And I bet if they went to Bare Naked Ladies, the archives,
archive.
Yeah, I think you'd like the number of
we still
that
sing,
they would
like,
find on there.
I would not die, but I would love to hear Near and Far again. I'd love to hear that whole, like, it lives rent free in my head. Near, Far, Beans, like so many things that just live in my head.
I will drive and I will still listen to Beans.
There was an ad lib that they did in Manchester, and they were talking about the Red Arrow Diner and going there for food. And I think that's where Beans, I think they were doing something from Beans there because they had Frankfurters and Beans there. And I was, because that's where I hung out there as a kid at the Red Arrow. And so it was just such a sweet, cool moment. And I'll never forget those. But how many of us remember more of the ad libs sometimes from shows? That's what made a show.
I still have my recording from their Bare Naked Ladies for the Holidays album that they did, the recording of the concert that they did that I went to.
Yeah.
And some of the songs, the ad libs on that, I listen to every Christmas.
Yeah.
Are they Christmas songs? Nope. But do I listen to them every year?
Now,
yep.
So are they going to come out with another one from the post Steve era? Are we going to get...
Heidi, did you see the most recent
post? And everybody got so excited and they're like, oh, wait a minute.
I am so incredibly devastated with what they released.
I know.
We're going to do acoustic versions of 8 songs off our newest album that really didn't sell that well to begin with. But here's the thing that pissed me off. Sorry, but I got really angry. The song that they decided to release first was already fucking acoustic.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Maybe you're
totally
right,
agree.
maybe not. That's
Ah,
my comment.
I agree
Yeah.
150%. Like I was like, everybody was like, oh my gosh, they're back in the studio. We're gonna get a new album. It's another goes all the way back to box set again. It's just the same songs done in a different way.
Yeah. And
It's
sometimes
all the
not
same
done
songs.
different.
You're just doing them again.
And
You're
that kind of
because
comes back to like what we were talking about, like with how a lot of us were kind of disappointed with In Flight, and it's just like just focus on the quality of the
yes.
songs and not putting out a whole bunch of albums and not making an album for an album's sake. Just focus on like what you're really excited about as artists and put that out there. And maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they are really excited about it, but like
But
they're
we love it
yeah.
during their shows when they go to the acoustic portion. Those I always really enjoy when they
Yeah,
come forward
especially
for the
For
more
You. They
intimate
do
time.
a great version of
For
For
You
You
is
live, yeah,
amazing that
acoustic.
way. But that's it's not like I want an entire album of that you just released.
Right. That's the problem. If you're going to do a greatest hits album of acoustic versions, you got me. I will buy that actually.
Yeah. But you just are replicating the exact same album that you just did. And yeah, I don't know.
Although to
I'm
be
not.
honest, the Persuasions album was kind of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you brought in the Persuasion, so it's a
Yes.
whole different
It's different level.
feel of it. But it was different because it brought in again, it brought in those voices, which were completely different. It was
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm excited
um
to talk about the Persuasions album, but again, I think that that was an album that was poorly conceived and thrown together too quickly and not done properly.
yeah,
And I feel
yeah,
like since B&L has gone out on their own, that is what we've gotten quality wise is
yeah.
they don't know how to manage themselves. I mean, it's not an insult. The Beatles didn't know how to manage themselves. Most bands don't know how to manage their own releases and their own albums and how to do all of that and make it sound the way that's going to work for the buyers. They just don't. Mic drop.
What was the one that what was the album that we all thought like the flow was really good on? Was it Maroon?
Maroon and I know Stunt for me, I thought was a really good flow, and Maroon definitely like
I think Maroon, we were all
we were all
fairly, in line with each other about
yeah,
the
and that
flow
was
was
Don
great.
Was,
So
which
whoever helped with the flow on Maroon,
I'm pretty sure
that was
we would
the
find out that was Don Was, which he is a
Don Was,
musical
yeah.
genius. So
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. I wish every album that B&L released was a Don Was production because he's just amazing. I wish I could be more upbeat about this episode. We're talking about the greatest hits.
Well, hey, I mean, we suggested what we think would make a good album of rarities. So I think that's a positive thing.
I think so too.
And not everything they put out we're gonna like. So, and part of this, I think, too, is us asking Bare Naked Ladies directly to their face for whenever they come on here again. What's up with that? What were you thinking?
You want to hire someone that could put together a really strong album for you. Heidi has this
Mhm.
amazing idea for original hits, original stars. You could do original hits, original stars too, and
Yeah,
really make it sell.
they got to do it quick before Tom Jones and Bruce Coburn get, you know,
And Kim Mitchell, they could
dead.
do a Kim Mitchell song.
Oh, they could collaborate again with Sarah McLachlan. They
Oh
could.
yeah.
And
I
Michael
mean, there's
Bublé.
Michael Bublé, right?
Come
Bring
on,
in like,
guys.
Mhm.
I mean, like thinking about. Okay, so what was one of my favorite Tony shoot Tony Bennett albums is the duets album.
Yeah.
It's a great
Mhm.
album. And so and that was different. It's his stuff, but it's just reimagined in a beautiful way. And he's got some great like great pairings on that album. So do that, like that's original stars. Like, I
Yes.
mean, I'm sure Dean Friedman would be like, woohoo, let's do this.
Oh,
You
Dean
know,
Freeman, when we were talking with him, was like, I
he'd
will
be so
totally do that.
stoked. And then again, the Persuasions on Gangster Girl, I would kill to hear that.
Mhm.
Oh,
Not
that'd be
kill.
amazing.
I mean, I would get
I
really
mean, I don't
excited to
know.
hear it.
I'd kill somebody that deserved it, maybe, to get them.
Oh yeah. But we've got good ideas, and maybe they're listening, or maybe Andy is listening and can, relay this on
Andy,
to
do you
Jim.
hear me?
Oh, bring Andy back and collaborate with
I
Andy on something
know.
again.
He's the most
Like,
reachable, I think. Maybe Steven. We'll talk to Steven, maybe.
yeah, maybe. I mean, there's just such potential there. I just don't want it to get to the point where the fans become so complacent and like pond water that we're like, ugh. Now I'm going to go to a show and I'm going to hear all acoustic versions of this instead of, like, give me something to get excited about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I like the acoustic part of the concert set, but I don't want you to just tour on just that. Like, come on,
Right.
come on.
Do some dances like they do, and
Yeah, bring back the shopping cart dance.
stage
That would
jumps,
be
and
amazing.
that was
If they
amazing.
ever brought back like their old school like showstoppers, bring
Mm-hmm.
back
They're
like
far.
one amazing piece from every tour. Like the shopping cart dance would be amazing. Bring back near far. Bring back like it's hard because without Steven,
The fight
um
scene.
Yeah.
the
Oh
fight.
yeah. Yeah.
But there were some classic moments from tours that we all remember that we were like, I'd love to see some of those come back. And just, because you don't want to end up like getting to the point with Aerosmith and then Steven Tyler has to retire because he can't sing anymore and they can barely move on stage. Like, I mean, we're not there yet, don't get me wrong. But
working their way
you
to the
also don't want
walkers.
to become so stagnant.
Walk this way.
Right.
Walkers this
Stagnant.
way.
Walker this way.
That
Walker trust a
it's
stranger this
all
way.
been done before. Like we won't, like, that's, and I get it. I'm not in their shoes, and they're still wonderful humans and we love them.
I'm getting old too, but the thing is,
But
with the
you're
music
you're
business, you
doing
have
now
to
what you said you would never do.
well, that's the thing. The music business, you have to reinvent yourself. Not you
Right.
don't have to put out new types of music. You don't have to change your style. You just have to make it interesting for your listeners
Just like
and
a
make
fresh perspective on something, which they
yeah.
have done to some degree, but not an album's worth.
Right.
Ed did a
Right.
whole 36 episode TV show of
Yeah,
different
that's
jobs.
that was
You
great.
can't tell me he can't write
So
a
good.
song about each one of those jobs.
He did a little ditty at the outro, right? I think,
Yeah.
but yeah. No, there's material there, so.
He's got plenty of material that he could dig
Mhm.
from.
Mhm.
So much. So much. If you ask me, and like this is where I think Steven is doing such great stuff as a solo artist too, is
Yeah,
we're
it's really
getting
incredible that he can still create.
he's coming up with some brilliant, like, there's some great stuff. I listen to Heal Thyself pretty much once a week. I have it on
Mhm.
vinyl in my office and I listen to it pretty much every week. And I don't know what it is about that album, but I just it's become something different
Speaks
for
to
me
you.
now. It
Yeah.
really does. Like, there's a melody somewhere inside of me.
Oh my
Like,
god, I
there's
love
something
that.
about how it's just such a great, and it's on in my office. I have a bunch of vinyl, and that's one that I usually go to first thing in the morning when I get into my office. At least once a week I'm playing that. And I think that's, again, he's just becoming more brilliant. I don't
Mhm. He's
I
really
think in a
thriving.
lot of ways he's just so in introspective and intuitive now with his work, I think. And that's not to say that more brilliant writing isn't going to come, but I hope we see a great maybe not last yet, but a great next album come out. where we
Next,
could go,
next.
oh my God, we're just chewing on every song. Like, holy shit, this is good.
But I see that's the thing. Steven isn't in a hurry to release his albums. He is willing
Right.
to wait
Yeah, I don't
until
know
it's
what the
right.
rush is. What
Yeah,
is the
you're
rush with
right.
getting it out, and like what imaginary rule are you trying to,
Right.
or what are you trying to prove by getting it out every 2 years or something? Like,
The
stop.
artistic process, I think you're absolutely right there. Him and Craig and it's Craig
Oh,
Northey and
Kevin
Kevin
Fox.
Fox.
Kevin, right. That
We both spit that out so fast.
collaborates
Yeah.
with them.
Like, God damn it, I know
Um,
this one.
they're really delving into that artistic process side and you're right, they're taking their time. We're not going to take it out of the oven until it's
Mhm.
done, and then we'll put the
Yeah.
frosting on and give it to the public, but we're not going to until it's ready. And I think you're right. What is the rush, Betsy? You nailed it. Like, why is there an unwritten rule that they have to put an album out every year or they're
I don't,
forgotten?
I don't know if people are putting pressure on them, and if so, I'd stop it. I don't know why that's
Yeah,
happening.
I would rather have one quality album than two low quality albums.
Yeah, it's not even a question. Yeah.
Because I mean, Steven had Heal Thyself Part One and Heal Thyself Part
Part
Two
two, yeah.
written, all those songs written for the most part, or he thought he had them written, ready to go. Like it was going to be a dual disc. He was just waiting to separate it out, release it a
Mm.
little separately. He held off, and by holding off, he came back to some of the songs. He's like, no, I don't feel that song anymore. I don't want to do that song anymore. Here's one that I'm going to revamp a little bit and do differently. But I got other songs that I feel more powerful about now. I'm going to release these ones instead. And I would say Heal Thyself Part Two is probably the best album he has ever put out. I think it is almost a perfect album. And it
And
happened
but
because he waited.
Excelsior is really great too. Like,
Yeah.
the man's a genius.
Yeah, but he's not pushing it, and he's
No?
willing to wait till something speaks to him. And I know that right
Right.
now he's working on Vanity Project Part Two. Steven, take your time. Steven and
Take your time.
Steven,
Vanity
your
Project 1
time.
was so damn good. I like it's so good.
I want to hear
It's
it,
got to
but
be good.
like, take your time and make it right.
Right. But I think that's it. I think Steven no longer there's a difference. And I don't know if it's because Ed and Tyler and Jim and Kevin are still bare naked ladies, where Steven is now Stephen Page. And so
Mhm.
it's a whole different, like they don't he can do like maybe it's, I mean, they have four band members that are depending on their career and their, that's, but it's not like they're broke and they need a new album. So
Well, no, because they also do other stuff.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I think,
But maybe it's that Steven, he's gone through so much stuff. Maybe now he's like, he's taken a step back, a huge step back. And he's like, I'm very happy doing what I'm doing the way I'm doing it now. And I'm doing music for me and not for the bigger audience. If it sells, great. But that's why he works so well in an intimate space now.
yeah,
It's not about the big stadium fillers. It's not about having an anthem anymore. He's got that. Brian Wilson will always be his.
mm-hmm.
Break Your Heart will always be his. So you've got these huge siren songs that he has that entire 60,000 stadiums were singing with. And now he doesn't need that. He has that. And so I think he now can be happy making his art for art's sake.
Well, I think
Um,
the other piece of it, if I had to guess, and that is totally a guess, is that when one area doesn't spark as much interest and intrigue anymore, he does something a little bit different, which is what he wanted to do to begin with, which was he wanted to do different things and find things that bring passion. So when I think he still loves touring with Kevin and Craig, but I think he was like, you know what? Touring a lot. We're doing the same thing, and I need something different. So he did Canadian Highwaymen and toured with them. And you could tell when he was on stage, he's like, this is different. This is invigorating. I love this. So I think that he is just willing to be like, I'm going to mix things up and do things different and just keep the passion in music.
That's a great way to end that. That's really well said.
Tied it up in a neat bow.
Tied it up in a neat little bow.
Well, thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you. So
I know when we first discussed doing this, we're like, is there really anything more left to say about this? But we filled an hour easy, and it was a great discussion.
A really great discussion. We've got a whole album.
Yeah, we got a new album to make, you guys.
Right.
or cobble together.
Well, have a great night, and I will talk to you guys in a couple of weeks.
You too, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night.